can do a roll call, Susie.
Board Member Reister.
Present.
Board Member DeVore.
Here.
Board Member Cease.
Here.
Board Member Chambers.
Here.
Board Member Litmo.
Here.
Board Member Davis.
Here.
And Board Members Wakeman, Doyle, and Reagan are all absent.
Okay. Motion to approve the absences of the three that aren't here.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're excused. Motion to approve the agenda for today.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion or changes? Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Approval of the meeting minutes from December 16th, 2021. Any discussion or changes on the meeting minutes? Motion to accept.
Accept as written.
Good motion. Anybody want to? I'll support it.
My second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Sue, treasurer's report.
Our current balance is $739,118. Upon the completion of the winter tax season, I will be transferring approximately $140,000 additional tax revenue into the TIFA. I just wanted to note too that final payments have been made for CL Trucking for the Amity Street project and Wolverine for the bathrooms. Yes.
Any questions for Sue? Right, public comment? Not, public comment's closed. Beth, do you want to take over?
No, you're doing fine.
Okay. Dan, you're up. Valley Vista Engineering is old business number A.
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone.
Good morning.
For the upcoming construction season, the city of Lowell will be replacing street surfaces on Roberta Jane, Faith, a portion of Valley Vista from Main to Bose, and a portion of Heffron in the vicinity of Don Street. We're also repaving G Drive, and we have our big Monroe Street project that's upcoming as well. The street section on Valley Vista Drive to be resurfaced falls within the DDA, and funding for this portion is being requested through the DDA. The construction work, when it comes next year, starting in July, will consist of the removal and replacement of the existing asphalt, and if necessary, the gravel base may also be replaced, and then any broken settled or missing curb and gutter will be replaced. Similar to what we did on Amity Street and what we've been doing lately. For today, Williams & Works has proposed design engineering services that include the soil boring to determine the existing base material, the survey work necessary to lay out the project and the health limits of the work, and the design of the street work to be completed. They'll also prepare all these construction documents and help us with the bid on the project. For these services, Williams & Works has provided a proposed fee of $10,200 for the Valley Vista portion of the design work. Their estimate for the construction work on Valley Vista will be about $138,000, and again, that will be in next year's budget. Questions?
Any questions for Dan? Yeah, I'm pulling this up here. Person said I'm doing fine, I'm clear over now. Who motion to approve the Valley Vista Engineering?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Any discussion or extra questions for Dan? Sue?
Board Member Reister.
Okay.
Board Member DeVore.
Yes.
Board Member Cease.
Yes.
Board Member Chambers.
Yes.
Board Member Litmo.
Yes.
Board Member Davis.
Yes.
And Chair Reagan.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Summer concert series.
Yeah, we got a request from Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce and Lowell Arts. They're coming to us there's an increased cost for the summer concerts this season. I'll let them explain it, but I talked to Rick about this last week, and we definitely can make funds available for the request, so I'll let them explain.
So I would like to share that this is our 20th concert series that we have put on. We started the series in 2001, and then we didn't have a series in 2020. So it's kind of exciting to think that this is our 20th season of doing it. And when we started back in 2001, there were only a couple other free concert series out there. There was the jazz on Monday night at the zoo, and then there was the blues on the mall. And really, if you know and look at communities right now, everybody's doing concert series. So one of the things we'd really like to do with our concert series is to step it up so that we really are just kind of considered one of the best out there. I'm going to kind of pony this over to Rick to have some conversation with us too. Rick is the person who does our contract negotiations with our musicians, and then we have a music committee that's comprised of chamber and Lowell Arts members at it. And when that committee met, the groups that they selected were just outstanding. I don't know if people remember when we had the Accidentals here maybe 5 years ago. I mean, that group has, based out of Traverse City, is national now, and they are just incredible. So they're one of the groups that we're negotiating to bring to our series. So we are really looking at the whole economic impact on the community and trying to make our series be a full house every one of the 10 concerts. So Rick, I don't know if you want to talk about your negotiations with the musicians.
I just want to, I think that we all know how important the concert series has become to our community. And we haven't really increased any budget for entertainment for a long time. Musicians love to play here. They love the history of the showboat, and that's been one of the things that has been a little bit easier for me to get contracts at lower prices for a while. But COVID hit, they didn't make any money last year, or the year before, and then last year I think it was a lot of goodwill that I was able to piece it together and still have a great lineup. But now, to get a great lineup and continue to be on top of Western Michigan's concerts as being one of the finest and best concerts out there, we need to pay more money. So I'm still negotiating 5 contracts, but I think we're going to come in at the number that was given to you at the $19,450. I don't know what that increase would be, how we handle that.
So I believe it's a $10,000 increase from last year. Basically, we have a line item for the social district that we have $48,000 budgeted, but we've only spent about $7,000. We will not even come close to. It's a community promotions line item. It's not even close to meeting that. Very easily could take $20,000 out of that line item and use it towards the concerts. And I would recommend doing that. But I agree with Rick. I would hate to see the concerts be minimized because of we didn't want to pay the funds for it.
20.
Be $20,000.
So Lorraine, the things that are, highlighted in the yellow, those are all pending. So, the LCTV grant, we're not feeling real strong about that. But at the current time, we're asking the DDA for $12,000, a little over $12,000, but more in case we fall short.
My understanding was the request was 20.
Well, I mean, we can ask for 20, but we don't want to take more than we need.
Okay.
But if we were to need it, he fell short in this budget and things don't come.
So you would just bill us after the fact and for the.
Frank, yeah,
Okay.
if everybody's in agreement.
But if the money's there, why wouldn't you just use it for next year's lineup or sound equipment or?
Well, I mean, that is something that we could talk about. John Wanger, who does our sound and tech, one of the things he shared with me, he's on my board, and he's my tech person at Lowell Arts. He did share that there is work on the stage that needs to be done. So we were kind of looking at trying to do a grant to the Lowell Fund to get that funding for the stage, but then that could be another area for consideration. I don't think he's come up with the total he needs. But he said that the stage needs more support. Right now, the support system is not really as strong as it should be for the amount of weight that is on it. And, yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, and the other thing we could do too is, because it is our 20th anniversary, we could add some fun giveaways and like maybe give Lowbucks away every week. So, you know, that could be another line item, which we don't have in here. But I do want to, you know, the good thing is there is a lot of businesses that look forward to supporting us. And I don't want to take that away from them either. So that's why some of these things are pending, if that makes sense.
So, you know, that's different than previous years. Previous years, you've given us a set amount.
Yeah.
But if you want us to come back to you at the end of the summer and give you a final budget, and then you can kind of look at where everything fell in place, how do you look at it?
Well, we just make the motion to reimburse up to 20,000, and then they can spend what they need and come back and get their money.
Sure.
Rick, I think you need to abstain.
I do. Okay.
I'll move that we approve up to 20,000 for the concert series.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Sue?
Board Member Reister? Board Member DeVore?
Yes.
Board Member C, oh, sorry, you're abstaining. Board Member Chambers?
Yes.
Board Member Lindenhood?
Yes.
Board Member Davis?
Yes.
And Chair Reagan?
Yes.
Probably voted no anyway, right?
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Like handicap accessibility.
Sure. In the fall, I received a request from a property owner who had requested for the city to install a handicap ramp for their business. At the time, I was not certain this was a legal expense of the Downtown Development Authority, as I believe the expenditure was for a private purpose. The person I met with had been informed from DDA board members this was done in the past, and this was done before my arrival in 2016. I discussed this matter with our city attorney, Jessica Wood, and she informed me that under the DDA statute, this would be deemed an allowable expense. This is done often in Grand Rapids, downtown Grand Rapids, where she's general counsel for the Grand Rapids DDA. I'm not sure how much a handicap ramp costs. However, if the board is supportive, I would propose $50,000 in the upcoming budget to assist with this. I would develop guidelines that this is a reimbursable program, meaning I would propose providing a 50% match up to $10,000. Also, the onus would be put on the property owner to provide the DDA with 3 quotes in order to process the request. If the DDA was supportive of this, the DDA would make this available to every taxable property in the DDA district, not just the downtown. It would also be first come, first serve, meaning once the funds are expended for the year, it would have to be considered in the following year if funds are available. In my discussions, I believe there would be at least 2 property owners who might be interested in this currently. And I'm asking the board to see if this is something they're willing to, would want to consider, and I could start the process of putting this in next year's budget and formalizing the guidelines.
I would be much in favor of those. Still on there. I'd be much in favor of this. I know I was a board member that did mention that to this property owner, so I was aware of it. So it is a good program, and it's been on the to-do list from DDAs, you know, that they could fund for a long time. So I think as long as it's run similar to the historic district, getting some quotes ahead of time, this is always helpful. Some of these old buildings just, you know, they weren't built to accommodate that. So any time we can accommodate, you know, the ADA Disability Act, that's what this implies. I think would be beneficial to the business owners and, you know, customers coming in. So I would be very much in favor of this. And the 50% match, you know, that's I don't remember what we really did for the other ones, but you know, that can be pretty substantial, you know, for, an incentive for the business owner to proceed with it.
Yeah.
Historic district, I think, is only 30, so this is even more incentivizing than that one.
My experience with I had a facade program I did when I was in Fenton, in my former city, and we did 50% up to $10,000. So basically, I would pretty much take the guidelines I did with that and put it to this.
And I know I think the historic district requires two quotes.
Yeah.
So if you find that 3 quotes is kind of hard, I wouldn't be opposed to, if we get 2 legitimate quotes.
Right.
That, to ask somebody else to, put in a bid,
Yep.
depending on how much it is, that might be.
That's fine. I 2 quotes. I mean, a lot of times I would approve 2. When I did, we would approve it with 2 quotes.
Right.
Just want to make sure they are getting quotes and not getting their buddy to do it.
Right.
Now, these would be for businesses only, correct?
Yes, it would be tax-paying businesses.
All right. Consensus then to move forward? Okay. All right, reports and member comments. Any member comments or reports?
Only thing I have is that the charging station parts are starting to arrive, and I'm working with Flat River to get them installed. Probably, I'll be meeting with them. I'll be on vacation part of next week. When I get back from vacation, I'm supposed to meet with them to finalize all that. So hopefully shortly thereafter, they'll be up.
Okay. I want to welcome Nicole and Lori. Thank you for joining our little group. Any other comments? That-
The power plant cement block building,
Yep.
that's gonna be converted to.
White box first level, residential units above. Yep.
And I know there's existing businesses that are gonna be renovated for restaurants. The demand for parking is gonna be shooting up big time for the employees and stuff, so I would, like to have us look into anything that we can do to accommodate that, in the future.
Like more parking or parking
Well,
structures?
just look at what it is there, what's there available now, and are we gonna have some problems, how many employees are gonna be, using up the spaces, and it's always been a problem that, if you block away, you have those employees park a block away from their business, but they end up blocking in front of somebody else. So it's kind of a domino effect, so as long as that is, addressed when you, the business owners, when you can, I don't know if there's anything proactively that we can do to encourage.
There is something proactive you can do, but your businesses and your residents aren't going to like it. It's called charging for parking.
I wouldn't be opposed to even, talking of Light Power, the Ralph Kurz Funeral Home. There's some property that might be available to perhaps purchase down the road.
Mhm.
If it becomes a problem, at least look into it.
Yeah.
Because I know Ralph Kurz has some property on the back of their property that's just vacant, and they may want to leave it there, but if that was parking, that might be something even Light Power could use for some of their employees. So just
Does
something.
anybody know, I want to ask the question, does anybody know how many parking spaces, and this includes on-strike and municipal parking spaces there are between Hudson and Jefferson? Anyone take a guess? How many?
175.
554.
Wow. Did you go counting?
I physically counted.
That's what I was going to guess too. But
I went and physically counted them. My opinion, this happens in every downtown. People think there's a parking problem if they can't go right to the business they want to go to and park right there. Then everywhere I hear it's a parking problem. Although I can tell you if you walk to downtown Grand Rapids, downtown Ann Arbor, downtown Plymouth, downtown Rochester, I'm talking east side because that's what I know, you're walking and they have, so unfortunately, I mean, you're right. If we can get opportunities to purchase properties, I would say definitely do it. I hate to say it, the solution is, if everyone really wants to attract more parking, it's a parking garage. And they're about $2 million to build, and they don't sustain themselves financially. And the other problem is if you have a parking garage, you have to charge every space in the city has to be charged for parking because It's the only way you can do it to even sustain a parking structure. Now, I mean, we can, if we want to start looking at the formalized parking studies, we can. You're going to spend, as I've done these before, you're going to spend a lot of money, and they're going to probably tell you the same thing I just told you. If really want to truly tackle I agree, the simplest solution is if there's land available, maybe even entering into leases with different businesses to use their parking spots. I mean, that's another option. I mean, I get it's a problem, but I don't know how deep you want to go to solve this problem. That's the thing. You can solve it, it's not going to be cheap.
And just, that knowledge of knowing that there's, 555 spaces available, so, what a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
To have, all the spaces filled.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen. We just have to let people know where the spaces are, because it's gonna come, people are gonna complain, but, we have to remind them, there's 555 spaces, but at the same time, when you go to Meijer, you go to the malls, how far do you really walk?
Right.
And once you get in the store, how far do you really walk?
Right.
Too, so we just need to point those out, but, as far as the employers, let the employees know where to park, try not to park in front of somebody else's place too. When you can, I ride my bike when I can, with this kind of weather, I ain't doing that. Just, that having that knowledge is helpful going forward. It's a small town, geez, you almost have to walk 2 blocks, that might be a blessing, because then you walk by some other businesses, you might go in there too. So, just wanted to, give you a heads up, it's gonna be a situation.
Oh, I recognize it, it's, I don't, the solutions are building up, and that costs money, and I don't think we want to do that.
Good, okay, that 555 number's gonna stick in my head.
Yep, 554. And then if you go all the way to James Street, I think you add another, I think I got it written down, hang on. Because there's more parking, like if you go all the way to where the rollaway is, there's more on-street parking, but, because I did count it one day. Let's see if I have it. And I've written it down.
Can I say something about
Sorry, we're
parking?
closed.
I know. Well, I just want to say that, over the years, the chamber has always encouraged their businesses not to park in front of their business. And I know over here, we kind of have a mutual agreement with all our businesses that we park in the back 40, and we do. But I think, parking, building ramps up is, like Mike said, crazy and very expensive. But I've always thought that we could manage the parking a little bit better by maybe having permits on our cars that say, I'm an employee and I should park in that employee area. I'm an apartment dweller and I should park in the back 2 places here. And that really is what our buildings are supposed to be doing, but I've noticed lately that's not really happening with the apartment dwellers. And that could be because employees are taking their spots where we should be over there. So I think there's ways to manage, like you said, and we try to gracefully tell our businesses, don't park there. We've had a lot of fights with it, and we've had to call in the police and things like that. And then they take offense to, you really shouldn't park there, you should park over there, And I know people get busy and they forget, but I just wanted to add that because I do think there are ways. And it's encouraging the business owners and the property owners that there are spots that you shouldn't be parking in. They should leave that for customers.
What about, like, the parks have a map of all the local parks? What if there was something where we had highlighted city
That's
lots
probably
and
a better
on-street
idea.
parking, and it could go out in e-blast with events
Mhm.
and
That's not
all
a bad
that
idea.
stuff? Plus, it's weather-related, right? I'm much more likely to walk from my house during Riverwalk than I am during Christmas through Lowell.
Right.
But
Yeah, one of the simple solutions is we probably could just get a map made, and, that's something we could do.
There's an app for that too, I think, that you
yeah,
could possibly.
but you're right. Downtown Plymouth is a nightmare because they don't have any municipal lots, it's all on-street
So,
parking.
street parking.
And the people park in front of the restaurants, and they're there 45 minutes to an hour, and now you're walking 3 blocks to go to your antique store that you're gonna be in and out of. So.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, and it means people want to come here, which is a pretty good thing too. But if you had like a color-coded map that you got with your event flyers or your
yeah.
Lowell bucks or whatever,
It might be
just
as
tells
simple-
people where to park.
Simple as me having Regis make a map and use it to distribute.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's a problem, you know, for the Sizzler concert, you know, there's a lot of people coming and parking and stuff like that. So just having, you know, municipal parking signs visible,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, you know, having some continuity, that's been very, very helpful, to have the different colors and stuff. And, you know, the other thing to remember is, you know, these businesses are, you know, downtown. You know, Bed and Baker, they could have been out by the expressway. You know, they could have done that. You know, these other restaurants coming in, they could have bought some land out, you know, east or west of town. They decided to stay in downtown because that's where the people are. So that's a nice problem to have, you know, that people complain about parking. At least they're coming downtown, we want them to keep coming downtown. So that, you know.
I want a parking problem every weekend for this.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, when you think about it, that's a
Yeah.
nice problem to have, because, you know, there's people in town, there's maybe at least 555 cars.
Yeah.
No,
556 person is going to complain to you though. Any other comments?
come do a carpool.
There you go.
We got a couple rickshaws that run people up and down. New Union's lot. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Adjourn.